In 1982, a housewife pushed a metal cart through the aisles of an A&P supermarket in Des Moines, Iowa. She placed a cold green can of Mountain Dew into the seat of her cart without thinking twice. That can held a flame retardant chemical banned by the FDA 42 years later. Her grocery bag also held a candy now illegal to sell in 44 states. Number 18 was handed out by school teachers. Number 8 sat in every American pantry, leaching heavy metal into the food. These 25 grocery items filled supermarket shelves during the Reagan years. They were eaten by children, packed into school lunches, stocked in family cupboards. Today, every single one has been pulled or outlawed. Hit that subscribe button. Let us count down the 25 grocery items from the 1980s that are now banned. Number 25, Mountain Dew with brominated vegetable oil. This was the soda that every gas station in America kept stocked by the case. A 12-ounce can cost 45 cents in 1982, and it had a bright citrus color that stayed suspended in the liquid for weeks. The ingredient that kept that color from separating was brominated vegetable oil, better known as BVO. Bromine is the same chemical used as a flame retardant in mattresses and furniture foam. Back then, nobody on the grocery shelf knew that. PepsiCo quietly reformulated the drink in 2020 after decades of complaints, and in August 2024, the FDA issued a full federal ban on BVO in food. The original green cans your grandmother used to pick up on Friday, grocery runs contained a chemical now classified as unsafe for human consumption. Children drank it by the gallon at pool parties and birthdays. It was considered a treat. Your parents probably bought it without a second thought, and the cans sat in the refrigerator next to the milk. Those cans are now a banned product. Number 24, Hostess Snowballs with red dye, number 3. This was the pink coconut-covered snack cake that sat in every corner store near the register. 2 to a package, 49 cents. The coconut on top got its bubblegum pink color from a dye called erythrocene, known on the label as red number 3. The FDA had already banned the dye from cosmetics in 1990 because it caused thyroid tumors in laboratory rats. But it was still legal in food for another 35 years. In January 2025, the FDA finally banned red number 3 in food and ingested medication, effective 2027. The bright pink snowballs that sat in lunchboxes across America were colored with a chemical the agency had already admitted was a carcinogen. Your mother packed them in with a bologna sandwich. You ate them in the cafeteria next to the milk cartons. The same dye was in maraschino cherries, strawberry milk, and the pink frosting on grocery store birthday cakes. A generation of children grew up with it on their tongues. The product is now on the banned list. Number 23, Aller sprayed apples. In the 1980s, American apple growers sprayed a chemical called daminozide, sold under the brand name Aller, on crops like Red Delicious, Macintosh, and Golden Delicious. It made the apples redder, firmer, and less likely to drop early. A supermarket crate of apples in 1987 almost certainly carried Aller residue, and so did the applesauce and the apple juice made from them. In February 1989, a CBS 60 Minutes report titled "The Most Dangerous Chemical in the Food Supply" aired across the country. The EPA found that Aller broke down into a known carcinogen, and consumer panic wiped out an entire year of apple sales. The EPA banned Aller on food crops in November 1989, but for the whole decade before, every school lunchbox with a shiny red apple inside carried traces of it. Your grandmother sliced them into pies. Your father packed them in lunch pails for the plant. Kids bobbed for them on Halloween. That red shine came from a chemical that is now banned from every American orchard. Number 22, Crisco partially hydrogenated shortening. A blue and white can of Crisco sat in every American pantry in 1984. It cost around $2.29, and it lasted nearly a year. Grandmothers used it for pie crusts, biscuits, fried chicken, and greasing cookie sheets. The secret to the smooth white texture was partial hydrogenation, a process that turned liquid vegetable oil into a solid fat. Partial hydrogenation also produced trans fats, the same artery-clogging compound that the FDA formally banned from the American food supply in June 2018. Every tin of Crisco sold before 2007 was full of it. So was every margarine stick, every frozen pie crust, and every boxed cake mix. A single slice of apple pie from 1984 contained more trans fat than a cardiologist today would allow in a month. Your mother used it in everything. It sat right next to the flour, next to the sugar, next to the salt. The blue can is still on shelves today, but the formula inside is completely different. The original product is banned. Number 21. Sundrop Citrus Soda. A yellow-labeled bottle of Sundrop cost 69 cents in 1983, and it was the go-to soda in trailer parks, gas stations, and filling station coolers across the American South. The citrus tang came from the same brominated vegetable oil that flavored Mountain Dew. A single 2-liter bottle contained a measurable dose of bromine, a chemical now officially classified by the FDA as unsafe for food use. Your father cracked one open after mowing the yard. Your grandfather drank a full bottle with every Sunday sandwich. Entire households stocked cases of it in the garage. The brand quietly removed BVO from its recipe in 2014 after independent health research linked long-term exposure to thyroid damage and memory loss. In August 2024, the FDA closed the loophole for good. The old Sundrop bottles that lined the shelves of every Piggly Wiggly in Alabama are a banned product today. The label looks almost the same. The liquid inside does not. Number 20. Brach's Candy Corn. Brach's Candy Corn filled glass bowls on every American desk the week of Halloween. A 1-pound bag cost 99 cents in 1985, and the bright orange and yellow stripes came from a blend of red number 3, yellow number 5, and yellow number 6. That red dye is the same erythrocene the FDA has now banned. Children ate it by the handful. Teachers kept bowls of it on their desks for weeks. Grandparents dropped it into plastic pumpkins on front porches across the country. Back then, nobody read the ingredient label. Nobody checked for warning notices. The candy was considered harmless. It was considered seasonal. It was considered a tradition. But each kernel carried a compound that had been proven to cause tumors in rats. And in 2025, the FDA finally pulled it from the American food supply entirely. The candy corn your mother served in a cut glass bowl every October 31st is no longer legally sold in its original form. The banned product sat at the center of every Halloween party. Number 19. Sanka Decaffeinated Coffee. Sanka came in a bright orange can with a white label, and it sat on the kitchen counter of nearly every American household through the 1970s and 1980s. A 16-ounce can cost about $3, and grandmothers drank it every evening after supper. The decaffeination process used a chemical called methylene chloride, an industrial solvent also used to strip paint and degrease engine parts. Trace amounts remained in the coffee grounds. The FDA proposed a federal ban on methylene chloride in coffee decaffeination in 2024 after the Environmental Protection Agency classified it as a likely human carcinogen. Your grandmother drank it with a saucer of cookies. She kept it on the top shelf next to the sugar bowl. It was the quiet, safe coffee you drank at bedtime. That same quiet coffee was leaving chemical residue in every cup. The bright orange Sanka can that sat next to your grandmother's floral coffee pot is now living on borrowed regulatory time. The product is already effectively banned in the European Union. Number 18. Candy cigarettes. Candy cigarettes sat in cardboard boxes at the checkout counter of every drugstore, five and dime, and corner market in America. A box cost 10 cents in 1981. The little white sticks had a pink tip painted on the end to look like a lit cherry, and the packaging was a near-perfect replica of actual tobacco brands, Marlboro, Lucky Strike, and Camel included. Children as young as 4 were handed them as party favors. Kids blew powdered sugar out of them to mimic smoke. Grandfathers slipped them to grandchildren at the grocery store as a treat. A whole generation of American children learned how to hold a cigarette, how to tap one against a table, how to flick an imaginary ash, all before they could ride a bicycle. Public health data published in the early 1990s showed that children who played with candy cigarettes were measurably more likely to become actual smokers as adults. North Dakota banned them in 1953, and over the following decades, 44 states and cities passed similar laws. The Federal Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act of 2009 gave the FDA broad authority to restrict candy-shaped tobacco imitations. Most major American retailers pulled them entirely from the shelves by the end of that year. The candy your father bought you at the corner store before Little League practice is now a banned product across most of the country. Those same pink-tipped sticks sat right next to the bubble gum and the wax lips. They were the first thing an entire generation ever held that felt like a grown-up thing. Teachers gave them out as prizes at the end of the school year. Neighborhood dads slipped them into Halloween bags. Grandmothers dropped them into Christmas stockings because they were cheaper than chocolate and they lasted the whole afternoon. The box, the brand parody, the little cherry tip, the chalky white stick that tasted faintly of mint, all of it is gone from ordinary American checkout counters. A product that was handed freely to 4-year-olds is now a controlled item. Back then, nobody thought twice about it. The banned product was a childhood rite of passage. Number 17. Squirt Grapefruit Soda. A green glass bottle of Squirt cost 55 cents in 1984. It was sold in every vending machine, every gas station cooler, and every school cafeteria across the Southwest. The tart grapefruit flavor was held together by brominated vegetable oil, the same flame-retardant compound that sat inside Mountain Dew and Sundrop. A case of Squirt sat in almost every American garage during the summer months. Kids drank it at the pool. Fathers kept it in the cooler on fishing trips. Grandmothers offered it to the visiting grandchildren with Sunday supper. The brand finally removed BVO from its formula in 2014, and the federal ban arrived 10 years later. Every bottle of the old formula, every mixer used in a cocktail, every can of it packed into a school lunch cooler contained a chemical now officially classified as unsafe. The old Squirt sat right next to the 7 up in the refrigerator, and parents never suspected a thing. The original recipe is banned. Number 16. Kraft Macaroni and Cheese with Yellow Dye, number 5, and Yellow number 6. This was the box with the blue lid and the big yellow elbow noodles on the front. A box cost 49 cents in 1983, and it was a school night staple in tens of millions of American households. The startling orange color in the cheese powder came from a blend of Yellow number 5 and Yellow number 6, 2 coal tar-derived synthetic dyes. Both are banned in Norway, Austria, and large parts of Europe. Both are now under active FDA review in the United States. In 2015, Kraft reformulated the recipe and removed the artificial dyes entirely after millions of parents signed a petition. The original bright orange boxed macaroni your mother served for Tuesday supper, the same one you ate out of a plastic bowl in front of the TV, had an ingredient list that no American company would legally sell today. Your grandmother made it for grandchildren. Your father ate it cold from the fridge. The original formula is effectively banned from modern store shelves. Number 15. Raw milk sold across state lines. Farm-fresh, unpasteurized milk sat in glass bottles on the back shelves of roadside dairies and country grocery stores well into the early 1980s. A gallon cost about $1.90 in 1986. Grandmothers swore by it for growing children. It was creamier, it was richer, and it tasted the way milk was supposed to taste. But raw milk carried dangerous bacteria including Listeria, Salmonella, and E. coli. In August 1987, the FDA passed a federal rule banning the interstate sale of raw milk and raw milk products for human consumption. Small dairies that had been trucking bottles across state lines for decades were forced to stop overnight. Your grandfather probably drank it straight from the jar at breakfast. Your mother may have poured it over cornflakes on Saturday mornings. Farm kids grew up on it. The old glass bottles with the cardboard cap that sat on the country store shelf are a banned product in any state except the one they were produced in, and in many states, they are banned entirely. Number 14. Brack's Milk-Made Caramels. Brack's Milk-Made Caramels sat in bulk candy bins at every Woolworths and Fresca's 5 and dime across America. They cost about 39 cents a quarter pound in 1984. The soft pink strawberry caramels, the ones that came mixed into every assortment bag, were colored with red number 3, the erythrocene dye the FDA banned from food in January 2025. A generation of grandmothers kept a ceramic candy dish of them on the coffee table in the living room. Grandchildren would visit on Sunday afternoons and fill their pockets. The pink caramels were always the favorites. They tasted like a memory even when you were 5 years old. A single piece contained enough red number 3 to count as a measurable dose, and the candy bins at Woolworths held thousands of pieces at a time. The FDA had known about the thyroid tumor data in laboratory rats since 1983. The dye stayed on the American market for another 42 years. In 2025, the federal ban finally closed the loophole. Children ate handfuls of these caramels during the Reagan years. Your grandmother offered them with a glass of milk. They sat in a crystal bowl on her coffee table, and they never got thrown out. They just got replaced when the bowl ran low. An entire decade of Sunday visits, Christmas stockings, and after-school snacks revolved around a piece of candy that the American government has now pulled from the legal food supply. The banned product tasted exactly like a Sunday afternoon with your grandmother. Number 13. Unpasteurized imported French cheese. Soft ripened French cheeses like Brie de Meaux, Camembert de Normandie, and Roquefort sat in the deli cases of higher-end American grocery stores through the late 1970s and early 1980s. A wedge cost about $4.50 in 1984. The creamy texture and deep flavor came from traditional raw milk production, aged for less than 60 days. In 1985, after a listeria outbreak linked to unpasteurized Mexican-style cheese killed at least 52 people in California, the FDA banned the sale of any unpasteurized cheese aged less than 60 days. Entire cheese counters were stripped overnight. The classic French imports vanished. American specialty shops that had built their reputations on imported raw milk cheese either reformulated or closed. Your mother may have served it on a wooden cutting board at Christmas. Your grandfather may have brought a wheel back from a trip to Paris. The cheese that made American dinner parties feel European in 1982 is now a banned import. Every wedge that sat on a cheese board during the Reagan years came from a production standard that is illegal in the United States today. Number 12. Oscar Mayer bacon with original nitrate levels. A pound of Oscar Mayer bacon cost $1.79 in 1984, and it came wrapped in cellophane in the refrigerated meat case of every American supermarket. The curing agent was sodium nitrate at levels the USDA would later determine were linked to increased colorectal cancer risk. A 2015 World Health Organization report classified processed meat cured with nitrates as a Group 1 carcinogen, the same category as cigarettes and asbestos. The old formulations were never technically banned by name, but every major American bacon producer voluntarily cut nitrate levels by 70 to 90% in the years that followed. The bacon your mother fried every Saturday morning, the smell that filled the whole kitchen before you even got out of bed, contained 4 to 5 times the nitrate load that is legally permitted in Oscar Mayer bacon today. Your grandmother crumbled it into green beans. Your father ate 3 strips with 2 eggs and a cup of Sanka. It was the Saturday morning ritual of an entire generation. The original cured meat is effectively off the shelves now. Number 11. Fresca with brominated vegetable oil. Fresca came in a silver and green can with a grapefruit on the label, and it cost 49 cents in 1985. The Coca-Cola Company marketed it as the diet soda for grown-ups who wanted something more refined than Diet Coke. The citrus bite came from the same brominated vegetable oil that laced Mountain Dew, Sundrop, and Squirt. Your grandmother drank Fresca at Bridge Club. Your mother sipped it in the afternoon with a cold sandwich. It was considered the sophisticated soft drink. Coca-Cola quietly pulled BVO from the recipe in the early 2000s, and in August 2024, the FDA banned the compound nationwide. Every silver can of the original Fresca that sat in the door of an American refrigerator during the Reagan years contained a chemical that the federal government now classifies as unsafe for human consumption. Your grandmother offered a glass of it to visitors on hot afternoons. She kept a cold six-pack in the basement refrigerator. The old recipe is banned. Number 10. Wonder Bread with potassium bromate. A loaf of Wonder Bread with its red, yellow, and blue balloon wrapper cost 69 cents in 1983, and it sat on the breakfast table of tens of millions of American households. The soft, uniform texture that made it perfect for peanut butter and jelly came from a flour conditioning agent called potassium bromate. The compound is banned in the European Union, the United Kingdom, Canada, India, China, and Brazil because it is a known carcinogen in laboratory animals. California added a warning label in 1991. The FDA has never formally banned it, but in 2023, California passed Assembly Bill 418, the first state law to outlaw potassium bromate from any food sold in the state, effective 2027. Your mother bought 2 loaves a week. Grandchildren ate peanut butter sandwiches on it after school, and your grandmother made bread pudding from the leftover crusts. The soft white bread that fed an entire American generation is now being pulled from the shelves, state by state. The original formula is effectively banned. Number 9. Tab Cola with the saccharin warning label. Tab came in a pink and white can, and it cost 35 cents in 1982. The diet soda was sweetened with saccharin, and by federal law, every can carried a printed warning. This product contains saccharin, which has been determined to cause cancer in laboratory animals. Your mother may have had a case of it in the pantry. Your grandmother drank it by the glass. It was the first mass-market diet soda in America, and the warning label became so iconic it turned into a punchline. The Coca-Cola Company stopped producing Tab in 2020 after decades of declining sales. The original saccharin warning label was removed by Congress in 2000. But by then, the damage to the brand was done. Every pink can that sat on the kitchen counter during the Reagan years carried the literal printed words of a cancer warning. Your mother drank it while balancing the checkbook. Your grandmother offered it with lunch. The product itself is discontinued, and the original sweetener formulation is effectively gone from every American diet soda today. Number 8. Canned tuna in lead-soldered cans. A 6-ounce can of chicken of the sea or star-kissed tuna cost about 59 cents in 1983, and every American pantry held at least 3 or 4 of them at any given moment. The cans were sealed with lead solder along the seams, a manufacturing method used in American canneries since the 19th century. Microscopic amounts of lead leached into the tuna from the solder, especially as cans sat on pantry shelves for months or years at a time. In 1982, the FDA began phasing out lead-soldered food cans, and by 1995, the ban was effectively complete. Imports from countries still using the old method were restricted. But every can of tuna consumed in the United States between roughly 1885 and 1992 carried a measurable lead load, and a generation of children grew up on tuna salad sandwiches, tuna casseroles, and tuna melts made from it. Your mother mixed it with mayonnaise and celery for Tuesday dinner. Your grandmother baked it with noodles and potato chips on top. Your father ate it straight from the can on Sundays while watching football. Lead exposure in children has been directly linked to lower IQ, behavioral problems, and kidney damage, and the World Health Organization has stated there is no safe level of lead exposure in humans. The blue and white can with the mermaid logo sat in every American pantry, and nobody read warning labels because there were none to read. The old lead seam cans are a banned product today, phased out quietly but completely. A generation of children grew up with their daily protein served out of a can that the United States government eventually outlawed. The tuna itself was fine. The container was not. Number 7. Pillsbury Space Food Sticks. These chewy, tubular bars sat in the cookie aisle of every American grocery store through the 1970s and into the early 1980s. A pack of 6 cost about 59 cents in 1982. The marketing connected them to the Apollo astronauts, and children begged their mothers to put them in school lunchboxes. The bars were stabilized with BHT and BHA, Two synthetic preservatives later banned or restricted in the European Union because of links to liver damage and thyroid effects in laboratory animals. Pillsbury discontinued the product entirely in 1983, and every modern attempt to revive the brand has used reformulated ingredients. Your mother packed them in a brown paper lunch bag. You ate them at recess standing next to the swing set. Grandmothers stocked them in the cookie jar for after-school snacks. The bright foil wrapper was everywhere. The original formula, with the preservative blend that made the sticks last 6 months at room temperature, is no longer produced and would not meet current food labeling standards in half the countries that imported it at the time. The original Space Food stick is banned from legal commercial production in its original form. Number 6. Swanson Hungry Man Frozen Dinners. A Swanson Hungry Man frozen dinner cost about $1.99 in 1984, and the aluminum tray sat in every American freezer. The fried chicken dinner, the Salisbury steak, the turkey and dressing, all of them were held together with partially hydrogenated vegetable oil and margarine, the same trans fats the FDA formally banned from the food supply in 2018. A single Hungry Man meal contained between 7 and 10 grams of trans fat, roughly 4 times the daily safety threshold the American Heart Association recommends. Your father ate them in front of the television after a double shift. Your grandfather heated them in the oven on Friday nights. Kids pulled the foil back on the hot dessert compartment and ate the peach cobbler first. The frozen dinner industry was entirely restructured after the 2018 ban, and every single legacy formula, every Hungry Man meal sold before roughly 2007, contained a compound that the federal government now classifies as unsafe. The old silver tray that sat in your grandmother's freezer is a banned product. Number 5. M&Ms made with red dye. Number 2. Between 1976 and 1987, there were no red M&Ms sold in America. The original red M&M had been colored with a dye called amaranth, known on the label as Red Number 2. Soviet research in 1971 linked the dye to cancer in laboratory animals, and American consumers panicked. Mars pulled the red M&M from the shelves in 1976, even though the specific batch used in M&Ms did not contain red number 2. But before the pullback, every red M&M ever produced had in fact been colored with that same amaranth dye, and it sat on American candy shelves until the FDA formally banned red number 2 in January 1976. Your mother poured a cellophane bag of them into a ceramic bowl for Sunday football. Your grandmother kept a jar on the kitchen counter. An entire generation grew up eating them, and the red ones were everyone's favorite. The original red M&M formula is banned, and the replacement color that returned in 1987 was a completely different compound. The candy that sat in every American candy dish during the Carter years is a legally different product today. Number 4. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes with Original Artificial Dye Blend. A box of Frosted Flakes cost about $1.79 in 1983, and it sat on the breakfast table of tens of millions of American households. The glossy orange color of Tony the Tiger and the subtle yellow of the flakes themselves came from a cocktail of yellow number 5, yellow number 6, and red number 3. All 3 dyes are now banned in the European Union or under active FDA review, and red number 3 was formally banned in American food in January 2025. Kellogg's reformulated the cereal starting in 2016 and removed the synthetic dyes by 2018. The cereal your father poured for you before school, the one your grandmother bought by the family-size box, the one that sat next to the quart of whole milk on the counter, had an ingredient list that no major American cereal company would legally print on a box today. Your mother poured it into a Corelle bowl. You ate it watching Saturday morning cartoons. The original formula is gone. Number 3. Jell-O Pudding Pops. These frozen pudding bars sat in the freezer aisle of every American supermarket through the 1980s. A box of 12 cost $1.99 in 1984. Bill Cosby did the television commercials. Your mother bought them for the kids after school, and your grandmother kept a box in the garage freezer for visiting grandchildren. The chocolate pops, the vanilla pops, and especially the Swirl Pops all contained red number 3 to enhance color depth, along with yellow number 5 for the vanilla version. General Foods discontinued the product entirely in 2004, and every revival attempt has used modern reformulated ingredients. The original frozen pudding stick that defined the after-school hours of a generation of American kids contained a dye the FDA has now banned. Your grandmother handed one to you on the back porch in July. You ate it standing in the driveway in flip-flops. The wooden stick always broke before you finished. That exact product is gone, banned in its original form, and every modern replacement is legally a different thing. Number 2. Bread baked with azotocarbonamide. Commercial American white bread from the 1980s, including Wonder Bread, Pepperidge Farm, and store-brand loaves from A&P, Safeway, and Kroger, was conditioned with a chemical called azotocarbonamide, or ADA. The compound is used to bleach flour and make bread dough more uniform. It is also used to make yoga mats, shoe soles, and synthetic leather. ADA has been banned in the European Union, Australia, and Singapore since the early 2000s. Subway removed it from American sandwich bread in 2014 after public pressure. The FDA has never issued a nationwide ban, but major American bread producers have quietly reformulated under state-level scrutiny and consumer pressure. The bread your mother used for peanut butter and jelly every school morning, the bread your grandmother toasted with butter for breakfast, the bread every American child ate at lunch for a decade, contained a chemical now classified as carcinogenic in most of the industrialized world. The soft white loaf that fed generations is effectively banned in most other countries, and the original American recipe is quietly gone. Number 1. Beef treated with the hormone DES. Diethylstilbestrol, known as DES, was a synthetic estrogen used to fatten American cattle starting in the 1950s. It made cows gain weight faster on less feed, and nearly every supermarket cut of beef sold in the United States through the late 1970s came from an animal that had been given the hormone. DES is a known human carcinogen. It was linked to vaginal and cervical cancer in the daughters of women who had taken the hormone medically. The FDA banned DES in cattle feed in 1979, but the residue remained in the food supply for years afterward as frozen and canned beef worked through inventory. Your grandfather ate a Sunday roast every week. Your grandmother used ground beef for Tuesday night meatloaf. Your mother grilled burgers in the backyard on the 4th of July. Every cut, every pound, every patty purchased in the 1970s and even into the early 1980s came from cattle treated with a hormone that the United States government formally banned from the food supply for its cancer-causing effects. Your grandmother's beef stew is effectively off the legal production table today. The product is banned. 25 grocery items. Each one sat on the shelves of an ordinary American supermarket during a decade most people remember as safe. Each one was pulled or banned after science caught up with what was in the box. Now, I am not a doctor, and this isn't medical advice. It's a look at how things used to be on a grocery shelf. The shelves of 1982 were brighter, the boxes were louder, and nobody read the ingredient list. A mother in Des Moines trusted the label on the can. She trusted Oscar Mayer and Kraft and Wonder and Brax. Most of the time, the trust was returned. Some of the time, it was not. Here is my challenge. The next time you walk through a supermarket, look at what has changed in the ingredient list on a box of mac and cheese. Compare it to what you remember from your mother's pantry. Share which one of these banned products you ate the most in the comments. I want to know if the candy cigarettes get more replies than the pudding pops. I want to know if anyone remembers the pink snowballs the way I do, because these were not just groceries. They were the flavors of a decade, and most are no longer legally allowed in the country that made them famous.